Hello, entrepreneurs. Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneur Fundamentals. My name is Robert Bitto. Today we're going to talk a little bit about having nostalgia for the good old days. I've been in business for quite some time now, and for those of you who have also been in business for a long time, you've seen things over the years that have worked and not worked. You've ridden your crests and you've had your low points too. And it's important not to dwell on the bad stuff, and it's also important not to dwell on the good stuff too. I can think back in my own business when back in 2002 or so, when the precursor of Google AdWords came out. It was called Overture, and for $1 I bought the word Mexican imports, the phrase Mexican imports, and also Day of the Dead. So for 5 cents, my keywords were placed on the #1 spot of all of the search engines. I look back at those days and I had my retail store and I had a website and I was selling on eBay. So I was selling on 2 online venues instead of 7 like I do now. And just with a small advertising budget, I had people coming to my website and to my eBay store by the droves. It was amazing. It didn't take much effort. I can long for those days. Oh, it was so easy, or is easier, it used to be so nice in the good old days. But, I had my run with that sort of thing, and you just have to move on. I got into a rut probably about 5 or 6 years ago because I was kind of stuck in the good old days. I thought because what I was doing 10 years ago, because it wasn't working now or at that time, I thought my business was over with. Instead of learning to adapt and roll with the punches and change, I just was stuck in the past. And we can be romantic and nostalgic for a better time in the past, but you can't dwell on that stuff, just like you can't dwell on the negatives. You have to look at your present situation, look towards the future a little bit, because we don't know what the future holds. Plan for the future as much as you can, but look at what you have now and see what you can do now. And try to put in the past the good old days. Now, something happened to me in my business this January that I've struggled with, and I've really put it to rest just recently, 4 months later. Postal rates doubled for international packages. So a necklace that I was selling for $8 that used to cost $8 to ship, and people used to grouse about that. Oh, why is it so expensive? Now it's $16 to ship. Nobody's paying for that. My international sales went from 25 to 30% of my business down to less than 5% of my business. Now I can just say, oh, well, the good old days, meaning 6 months ago, I had all these international sales. That's why you sell on the internet, right? The world is your customer instead of the local geographical area of a store. But that's changed. So I have to either figure out a new way to get international sales, make a deal with somebody in London and set up a mini warehouse there to distribute to Europe or something. I have to figure out something to recapture those sales, or just forget about it and move on and concentrate on the domestic market for the little things. My business is built on selling an average of $14 item. So I have to think of different things again. But I could pine away and say, I'm done, it's over with, just like I did in the past, but you have to keep going. And so, a lot of people say, try to forget about the bad times, but you have to forget about the good times also. You can't be nostalgic for what your business used to be. You have to look at your situation and look towards the future a little bit and do the best you can. And that's all I have to say on this subject. I hope it was helpful. Remember to like and subscribe. I think the button's down there. And let me know if there are other topics that you want me to cover. I cover the basics here, helpful hints, little pieces of advice. So please contact me, connect with me on Facebook and so on. Until next time, always work hard, and may all of your entrepreneurial dreams come true.